Okay, so welcome to the third video of Chapter 11. This one's actually pretty short and it's actually pretty interesting. It is on incomplete dominance, codominance, and polygenic traits. Okay, so what we're going to talk about right now is some exceptions to Mendel's principles. Sometimes there is actually no dominant or recessive gene, or the trait is controlled by many alleles or genes. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Well, first one we're going to talk about is called incomplete dominance. In incomplete dominance, every genotype has its own phenotype. So every different combination of alleles, big A, big A, big A, or little a, has its own phenotype. So it has its own distinct look. One allele does not completely dominate over the other. And the third type that you're going to see, so the third phenotype, is actually a blending of the parents' traits. So here we go. We have our red flower, which is big A, and remember we said that one allele is not completely dominant. So what we're going to see is that when we breed the homozygous big A red flower with the homozygous little a white flower, we end up with a pink flower that is heterozygous. Because the heterozygous, this is very important, phenotype is somewhere in between the two homozygous phenotypes. Okay, so you're going to end up with a blended flower. Now if we bred this flower, if we crossed it with another heterozygous, we would see again the two original parent traits. Okay. An example, so we just talked about flower color, so if we, there we go. So if we bred a red flower with a white flower, we end up with all pink flowers. So we have the homozygous, our heterozygous is pink, and our other homozygous white. This also is a way that we have different types of hair. So you can have straight hair, you can have curly hair, or you can have the heterozygous wavy hair. Okay, and you can not only think about this for human hair, but dog hair as well. So the heterozygous would be the blended hair type. Okay, and here we go again, just another showing. We have the two parents, two originals, and then we have the blended. Okay, then we have something else called codominance. Now, you can think of the word as co meaning equal. If I put you in a cooperative group, you have to work together. So co means equal. So they have equal dominance. Okay, so in codominance, neither alleles are a dominant. Both alleles are expressed, and if we cross two organisms with two different phenotypes, they produce offspring that has both phenotypes of the parental traits. And this occurs with not only chickens but other organisms. And we'll see what chicken looks like. So if we cross a black chicken with a white chicken, we end up with a chicken with speckles all over it. Okay, another example, we breed a white cow with a red cow, and we end up with a roan cow, which you can't really see very well there, but it's codominance, and here we go, we end up with a speckled colored cow. It is showing both traits of the parents, so codominance. It is showing both parent traits. Okay? And remember, this is the heterozygous offspring. Okay, let's play a little game here. So we have, what type of dominance do we have here? So we have our homozygous is dark, And then we have our other homozygous is light, and we have our heterozygous, which is a medium, kind of a medium brown. So it's in between. So it's like a blended, if we mixed this color with this color, we'd end up with a blended colored horse. So what type of dominance is this again? It is incomplete dominance. Okay, let's try another one. Here we go. What type do we have here? So we have our red flowers, red snapdragons. We have some yellow snapdragons, and then here we go. We have a orange snapdragon. So what type of dominance would this be? Oh, and you got it right again. Incomplete dominance, because our orange is kind of a mix between our red and yellow. Okay, now here we go. We have a speckled flower, so it actually, the parents would be a white flower. Okay. And a pink flower. Okay, we crossed those and we ended up with this with all the big spots. Okay, so both the white and the pink are showing. What type of dominance is this? Codominance. Awesome. Okay, then we're going to talk about polygenic traits. So many traits are controlled by 2 or more genes, such as eye color. So here are some of the genes that you have in you right now that control the color of your eyes. And depending on if you have the dominant allele, or the recessive allele, or any combination, because think, you could, if you have all 3 of these, you could have any combination. You could have one dominant here, you could have a recessive here, you could have a dominant here. So that is why there are so many different shades of eye color, because it is not controlled by just one gene. So you don't either just have brown or blue. You might have more brown and then some green in there. You might have one brown, some green, and some blue. It just depends on what genes you have, what alleles you have gotten from your parents that go with whichever gene, and that will determine what color eyes you have. Okay. Same thing with skin type. Okay, skin color is not determined by just one gene. So there's 3 different genes here showing. So we have our original parents, very, very light skin, very, very dark skin cross. We end up with the medium type skin as their F1 generation. But then look, our F2 generation can have up to 64 different combinations of skin coloring. Okay, so skin coloring is not a good indication of who your parents could have been, because look at all the different combinations that you could have just by one set of parents. So again, controlled by many different genes. Another one that's controlled by many different genes is blood type. Okay. And that is actually it for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was short and sweet.